Good evening, I'm Brian Bose. Tonight's CBS 19 exclusive is about one of the largest maximum security prisons in the state of Texas and how an unlikely team is forming there. For the first time in East Texas history, offenders and officers join forces to start an incredible movement, one that's catching worldwide attention. What started as an urban farming competition has now grown into something that's changing lives inside and outside prison walls. It's become so popular that offenders from other prisons are trying to get into the Mark W. Michael unit to get a piece of the action. And that's where our own Sasha Wilson went for a story you will only see here on CBS 19.
When you think of a prison, some words that may come to mind are fear, isolation, confinement. But a new program based in sustainable agriculture is transforming not only the perception, but the men incarcerated here, the officers, and other prisons across the state of Texas. Slowly, steadily, their herb and fresh produce gardens grew at record-breaking rates. Last year, they harvested a whopping 1.9 million pounds from their 400-acre garden. And that same year, their herb garden alone yielded 14,000 pounds. That harvest has found its way to victims of Hurricane Harvey, homeless shelters, family centers, children's homes, food banks, and churches. Meanwhile, officers started noticing an unprecedented change in the offenders.
I've been here for 29 years, okay? And I have not seen anything impact offenders as much as this has.
Correctional Officer Maria Hinojosa runs the Herbs Behind Bars garden. And not just anyone is eligible to participate. You have to be part of what's called the Honor Squad.
I have a lot of offenders that walk up to me and they want to come work for me. And I'll tell them right off the bat, I'm going to check your disciplinary record. I don't want no troublemakers out here. If you were at one time a troublemaker and I see that you've made a little bit of progress or you're trying, I'll give you that chance to get out here and try to be what the rest of these guys have become.
It's a chance that they may never have been given on the outside.
It changes a lot of them. I have some offenders that some people would look at them by just looking at their criminal record and they would say they are hardened criminals. But they come out here, makes them care about stuff. It teaches them to be kind and gentle and to be somebody else.
In terms of rehabilitation, this program has had nearly a 100% success rate for the Michael unit, a rate that started with Delvin Mouton.
I came out here and I had no goal, no motive. I got locked up real young, so really didn't have no sense of responsibility. I came working out here for Lieutenant White in the field force, and they gave me a chance to be a good leader, use my leadership skills, gave me an opportunity to learn, to help instruct other men in what we do out here, taught me responsibility, gave me an extra sense of hope, also let me know that I wasn't just an offender anymore, I was still human. Sometimes there's no way for us to give back. You know, some guys don't have family members to give back to. So knowing that what we're doing here with your hands, your own hard work and sweat, is going outside the gate to help somebody that doesn't have, man, that's wonderful.
I'm here for capital murder. I was gang affiliated for many years. That's the kind of reason I got sent over here.
Johnny Davila was in another unit, moved here to maximum security because of his violent history.
I gave my life to the Lord, and when I did, it's like I got put in here.
He says the transition already going on inside him crystallized when he joined the Honor Squad.
Reading the word about how, harvesting, reaping, sowing, I had an understanding of it, but I learned with my hands. So as I did it with my hands, I had revelation. I said, wow, this is what it's talking about. I mean, this is watching something you minister to grow, render aid, you watch it grow, and then you harvest it and you reap the benefits of that harvest.
Urban farming is a massive, fast-growing industry in major cities, cutting costs, bringing people closer to their food source, and reducing carbon footprints.
Like right now, the water level is a little bit high, so that tells me that I would need to come over here and make a small adjustment to turn it down.
Vernon McCleskey tends to the hydroponic and aquaponic sections of the operation.
Because if it's too high, it'll overflow and then we lose our chemicals.
And he now sees a future outside the unit.
In terms of a career, I would like to have, my own hydroponics and stuff at home. I also want to start a small landscaping business. That way I can give back to my community as well as earn a living for myself.
Just used to tell people to go buy an Acura, one of those cars. Now it's going to be growing lettuce out. Everything gets recycled at our unit.
All along the way, Mac and the team have painstakingly chronicled each success, each failure, each bathtub, each trampoline net, for the sole purpose of sharing their knowledge so other organizations can share the same success. Agency leadership hosted them to train bosses from across the region, and microsystems started popping up throughout the Texas correctional system.
Is it a second opportunity at life almost?
Kinda, yeah. This is like them being able to look back and go, even though I messed up in the past, I can actively make a difference outside in the free world.
And that's hope.
Yes. And some of our guys, gives them a reason to wake up in the morning. It gives them a reason, hey, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to weed flowers for a couple hours, but I know I'm going to be making a difference.
Ultimately, experts say this could mean saving millions of taxpayers' dollars through reducing food costs, reducing healthcare issues, recidivism rates, and much more. We visited with a man who is doing his part to promote sustainable agriculture on his side of the country. Tommy Norris is the chairman of the Sustainability Committee for the ACA. He then created greenprisons.org, a project designed to foster a national conversation on sustainability in corrections. He says the Michael Unit's hydroponic operation is the largest he's ever seen.
You get a real bang for your buck in terms of taxpayer investment in these programs and also into these people. 95% of these folks are going to come back and be your neighbor. Wouldn't you rather have them grow in a garden than cooking meth? It's that simple. Give them the skills, different skills, and new skills, and 9 times out of 10 they'll do it. I've met some ex-offenders that have been involved in these programs that have found jobs in the community that can't imagine themselves doing anything else now.
For a few hours a day, offenders leave the unit's fast pace and reflect. Officer Hinojosa says their lives aren't the only ones that have changed.
For me, it's like I feel like I've changed someone's life. At the end of the day, I've accomplished something.
Meanwhile, the message of hope is spreading, much like the roots of the project and the growth of the lives cultivating it. A message that confinement doesn't have to be confining. In Tennessee Colony, I'm Sasha Wilson.
The efforts at the Michael unit have earned them invitations to participate in research projects and speak across the country. In fact, have you ever heard of a little thing called TEDx? Well, just last night, Mac found out he was chosen to be featured as a speaker on the TEDx stage. That's happening this February in Dallas. Plus, the team is also scheduled to headline a sustainability workshop for the ACA.